back in 1876 that Alexander Graham Bell patented his phone in order to have conversations over long distances. From here, this technology took off, eventually getting to the point where the switchboard was no longer a feasible way to connect calls between people. Despite this fact, a switchboard used to be the heart of a telephone call exchange, as the operators had to manually route calls to their destinations. In this video, we will be discussing the history of switchboards to familiarize everyone with their past and functions. The Esterhazy Community Museum has 2 switchboards on display. One switchboard comes from the Canadian Pacific Railway and has been around since 1904. This switchboard was found in our collection in 2020. Next to it is the second switchboard, which came from the Old Central or Central Hotel on Main Street, which is still standing today. This switchboard was donated by Tom Goodhand in 2009.
Number, please. Hold on the line, please.
A call could be as easy as this, but that was not always the case. If the number the person was looking to call was not on the board the operator was working, they would have to transfer the call to the correct exchange where another operator would be able to connect the call. Back in the day, the job of a switchboard operator took concentration, good interpersonal skills, and quick hands. Oftentimes, you'd find women working the switchboards as employers found them to be more reliable as time went by. This network of job was quickly expanding. Women had the opportunity for employment and financial independence as well as develop identities outside homes. Soon, hundreds of operators were working on each switchboard as the switchboard became more efficient. The number of operators would be dependent on the area in which they were working. In a smaller neighborhood, a single person could operate the switchboard on their own. Despite the fact that the phone lines were meant to be strictly confidential, oftentimes calls would have to be listened into, and people learned quickly to be careful with what they were saying while on the phone. As the telephones became busier and the demand for phones increased, it didn't seem to matter how many operators there were, as it became easy to be overwhelmed by the mere volume of calls, leaving people waiting in a queue in order to have their call directed. Many people were working on solving this problem as the demand for telephones got bigger and bigger. Perhaps the most successful in this battle against time was Almond B. Stroger, who was a funeral director in Kansas City, USA. Paranoid that the call center was diverting his calls to his competition, he sought a way to divert calls directly to himself. His design became known as step-by-step, and the key component of the system was a telephone with a rotary dial. Telephones and the modern call was born from here, leaving switchboards like these a thing of history.
You'd be crazy to not subscribe to Esterhazy Community Museum's YouTube page.